That's when I got a bit freaked out because I would still hear it. Boom, 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 boom. Toilet flushing. Door opening. Toy falling off the shelf. Sleep paralysis. These things are adding up. And this is when it got really big and really intense. And I got scared. Like, I wasn't really scared before. It was just interesting. Cute, almost. Oh. Then it became something more personal, I suppose, because it felt like it was coming at me.
Fascinating episode today. Today we will discuss our ghost experiences. This is simple English listening. Fun, interesting topics, but in simple, intermediate English. Joining us once again is Joseph. Hello.
Hello, thank you.
So, do we believe in ghosts? On one hand, I'm very science-based, generally. If something doesn't scientifically make sense, I don't usually believe it, but there's so much more we do not know about the secrets of the universe and how it works than we do know. Like ants on a tree. For the ant, the tree is everything. But there's a whole world more of knowledge and discoveries out there. We are human beings, but we still have limits. I've thought this, when it comes to ghosts and demons and aliens and whatever. We perceive things in only 5 senses. So we have the 5 senses, sight and touch and hearing, smelling. Have I missed any?
Taste.
Okay. So is it possible that maybe things exist outside of these senses? Why not? Next, another thing, we perceive in 3 dimensions. Right? So human beings see and sense the world in the 3rd dimension. So here's a crazy idea. Do you know how many dimensions they think there are?
10?
That's right. 10 or 11 is science's best guess.
I just got 10 because that's as high as I can count on my fingers.
Whoa. We don't know what happens when we go through black holes. Yeah, there's so much more we don't know. So maybe ghosts do exist, and maybe they can be explained by science that we do not yet know. And of course, there's the frontier of the mind. There's so much we don't know about the mind. Maybe these experiences are just illusions of the mind, or collective illusions, where collective illusions is where more than one person sees something. That's where I generally stand anyway. But one thing is for sure, is I cannot deny the experiences that I have had. And you have also had some paranormal experiences as well, have you?
I had one pretty scary one. Well, a series of experiences that added up to one haunted house, I guess, is how you would call it, a haunted house. or a poltergeist.
So poltergeist is a kind of ghost that touches and moves real objects.
I
Is that
thought
right?
I thought a poltergeist was something that was trying to hurt you.
Okay.
Maybe that is the difference between just hearing and seeing and then it moving things. But if that's the case, then yes, mine definitely was a poltergeist because things moved around. So, one other thing that you were talking about on our limited experience of the world, it's the color spectrum. And because the color spectrum is just a tiny, tiny piece of the full wavelength spectrum. So for instance, there are I don't know the order, but there are gamma rays, X-rays, infrared.
And living creatures that we know of pick up different combinations of these.
Yes, they can see
Right.
those. They can see in those. So I think some butterflies or bees maybe can see in the infrared or they can see in the ultraviolet. So there are flowers and plants that pick up those waves. So if our eyes could see them, we would actually see different designs on these plants or other things too, maybe walls or who knows. Same with sound. We only hear a limited range of frequencies, right? Some animals can hear supersonic. I don't know if that's what you call it, or really low, like a dog can hear a really high whistle. I guess whales can hear very low sounds.
That's right. Yeah.
So now we have this, not only do we only have these five senses, but then we have, even in those senses, a tiny range.
Those are very good points. It's not like human beings see the same as a dog or a butterfly, or even, of course, trees like sense life in a completely different way to us. So let's get to the ghost stories. Would you like to go first?
Sure.
So we'll take turns with our ghost experiences, of which we have things that cannot be explained. And the word for that is paranormal experiences.
Paranormal, yeah, that's good. I like paranormal because it covers ghosts and all of the other things that we don't really understand or can't really explain. Possibly aliens, possibly spirits or demons or
Or any kind of entity, interdimensional entity, who knows?
even
Anything.
Bigfoot.
For sure, yeah.
So I never believed in ghosts. Even when my mother, who does believe in ghosts, had weird experiences, I kind of always thought she was exaggerating or lying, even making it up, because I thought that's too ridiculous. So I was always very skeptical, means I didn't believe in ghosts, and I wanted to see real hard evidence, very scientific minded. And I even had this mindset that, if I did live in a place with a ghost, I wouldn't even know, because I'd always think that it was some rational explanation. And so I lived in a place for a year and a half. And when strange things did start happening, I think I was there for a long time before I ever noticed it as strange, because I always had some explanation. Even when it could have been scary, I just had some thought, oh, it could be this, it could be that. I'll give you an example.
But was it just until things happened, like maybe repeatedly, that it started to make you think a bit differently?
Repeatedly, and the intensity of them grew. And the strangeness grew. So, really simple things that can be scary when you're alone at night in a dark apartment, just watching TV, and the bedroom door opens. If it's almost closed, it would move open. But this is an old house. Wood expands,
And there might be maybe a bit of a breeze.
Could be a breeze. Yeah, the air conditioner could be creating some sort of circulation, and it's an old house, so things shift, is what I thought. And, if the door would be open, sometimes it would close. So it was the opposite. So sometimes it would open, sometimes it would close. I also thought a lot about, there's a lot of construction in Vietnam. People building houses nearby, people doing things on the road, building buildings, buses or motorbikes driving by. And that could just create a small vibration in the house that caused something to happen. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not.
But maybe at some point, these are all great explanations, but at some point, the explanations run out.
They run out. So, especially when it's at night, because I think, well, nobody's doing construction at night. So, other things happened in that apartment that at first I just didn't see as very strange, but as they continued, got more strange. For instance, the toilet would flush, which
wind can't cause that.
But I get it in my head. Well, I don't really understand modern plumbing. I have no idea about suction and pressure and water levels, or somebody flushed upstairs and it flushed. I don't know. But I'd go into the bathroom. Did it really flush? And then the water's filling back up. So yes, it did flush. And that would happen maybe once a week. It would flush. The doors would happen 2 or 3 times a week. This is over a year and a half.
Yeah. But it wasn't like a secret, homeless man who...
I've heard about that too.
Through the window.
I've heard about people living in hidden compartments in people's houses just to get free rent and maybe needing to come out. So I thought about that too, but I don't think it was that. So one of the weird things that happened in this apartment, it's happened to me before, but never like in this apartment, is that always when I was on the couch, I would get sleep paralysis.
Okay, so sleep paralysis is where your mind wakes up, but your body has not woken up. So your body can't move, but your mind is awake.
And sometimes you can look around.
Sleep paralysis.
Yes, your body can't move. That's what paralysis is you cannot move. You can look. You feel like you're awake. You look around. And sometimes people talk about when you have sleep paralysis, there can be other entities there, other beings, things there in the room, living things or spiritual things. Well, I'd had sleep paralysis before in my life, but I'd never had other entities there. I'd never had other beings. But in this place, only on the couch, never in the bedroom, always on the couch, when I'd be taking a nap in the middle of the day, I would have this feeling like something was there. I didn't see it, but you just feel like there's something watching you, something looking at you, something sitting on the couch with you. Ooh, I'm getting chills just talking about this.
I'm getting chills just listening to it.
So, also, I thought, oh, that's normal. I get sleep paralysis a lot. And then other things start building up too. So, my upstairs neighbor had moved out, but I kept hearing running around upstairs. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. And I thought, maybe it's the grandkids of the landlord. They go up at 10 p.m., run around until 11. Their bedtime is 11, then they have to go down. And so I didn't think anything of it. A traditional Vietnamese toy started falling off the shelf. And it was always the same toy. Go ahead.
Do you want to feel confident in English?
Oh, yeah.
To have deep, beautiful conversations with foreigners? To travel airports, restaurants, train stations with your family with no stress and safely? For people at work to say, "Whoa, your English is so good, so professional." To understand most of the internet. Do you say yes? Do you say yes to more opportunities? Do you say yes to one-on-one English lessons with me as your teacher? Each is nearly 1 hour, each is about €20, and there are 9 spaces left. Sign up at simpleenglishbooks.com. That's www.simpleenglishbooks.com, and have a first free trial lesson.
No, I'm all ears.
Okay.
All ears means I'm listening intensively.
So this one toy kept falling off the shelf. And I would come home, it would be on the floor. I'd put it back on the bookshelf. And just to let you know, this bookshelf was right next to the couch where I always had the sleep paralysis.
Did you examine the toy, or did this toy have any kind of significance?
Vietnamese people from olden times, a ghost maybe, would have recognized it as a Vietnamese toy still. Anyway, sometimes I'd walk in from the bedroom and it would be on the floor. Or sometimes I'd be in the bedroom and I'd hear, and I'd walk in and it'd be on the floor. Well, one time I put it back on the shelf and I keep thinking, why don't my books fall off? Why don't like little statues fall off? I had a lot of decorations on this shelf. Just this one toy kept falling off. So I put it back, just like we did with the microphone. I checked to see if the air conditioner is blowing on this toy. It's not even in the right angle. There's no way the wind is coming in. And I put it back on the bookshelf and I hit the bookshelf. I try to shake the bookshelf, but it is so solid and hard. It doesn't move at all. In fact, even when I shake the bookshelf, the toy doesn't even move. The toy is just there, perfectly still. And I turned around to walk away. The toy hit the floor.
Oh.
And I turned back around. And that's when I start being like, what's going on? What's going on in here? And so when I put it back, then I start putting all of these things together in my head. And I want to like get a sense of maybe if there's something in this apartment. So I asked the landlord, I say, hey, could you ask the grandkids not to go run upstairs at night? Because sometimes I try to go to bed at 10 and they're running from 10 to 11. And he said, oh, the grandkids are in bed by 8 on the 2nd floor. And I'm on the 5th floor. The running is on the 6th floor. I said, oh, who's going up there at 11? Whoever's walking around is kind of loud. Is it you or your wife? He said, oh, we only go up there in the middle of the day at noon to practice yoga. Besides that, that whole apartment is completely locked and no one goes in. And the grandkids never go in because they don't have a key. They don't even live in the same room as the grandparents, so they don't even have access to the key. That's when I got a bit freaked out because I would still hear it. Boom, 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 boom. toilet flushing, door opening, toy falling off the shelf, sleep paralysis. These things are adding up. And this is when it got really big and really intense, and I got scared. Like, I wasn't really scared before. It was just interesting. Cute, almost. Oh. Then it became something more personal, I suppose, because it felt like it was coming at me. So the door in the apartment had a deadbolt, which means you can only open it from the inside, and it was solid metal. So I deadbolt that every night, lock it. I'm in bed at about 2 or 3 in the morning, and I hear my door open and slam. Boom! And that like shakes me awake, and I'm groggy, and I'm looking around the room, and I'm like,
So this door was locked.
oh yeah, like deadbolt.
Yeah.
I mean, the piece of metal that goes across is like
A thick piece of metal.
2 centimeters up and down, and
Mhm.
like a centimeter thick. I mean, it's solid metal. You can't get in. You're not going to kick that door. If you
Yeah.
kick the door open, you have to fix the door.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear the door open and slam shut. Boom. And I'm thinking, maybe it's a different apartment. Maybe it's downstairs. It was really loud. It woke me up. But maybe it's not mine. I'll go to sleep. Plus, I think I locked the deadbolt. I hear it again. Boom. And that's when I really freak out, because I was awake during the second one. I get up out of bed, and this apartment was weird. It had a window from the bedroom into the living room, and I'm looking down, and from the front door into the living room, a shadow crosses. Yeah, I'm getting chills just talking about this because I remember it so vividly. Then it crosses again the other way, back to the front door, but a little closer this time. Then it crosses a third time. Closest.
And then you started packing your bags.
Surprisingly, I didn't, because my friends kind of talked me out of it. But this is, when it crossed, it went towards the kitchen. And I had a plastic bottle with a metal shaker to like shake up powder, protein, vitamins, anything like that. And that knocked off the counter and bounced on the floor. You know, that real hard plastic? It's like, and you can hear the shaker bouncing around inside. So it's loud. I hear that. And I close the curtains, lock the deadbolt in my bedroom, get back in bed, and I think, there's no way I can go to sleep. There's no way I can go to sleep. And then I just wake up in the morning. Apparently, I just went to sleep. And this is what they say about these either aliens who come into your apartment or these entities, shadow people, is they can have a calming effect. If they know you're freaked out, they can either telepathically or with a pheromone you can't smell, maybe calm you. And boom, I was asleep. Totally asleep again. I didn't think it was a ghost. I thought it was an alien.
Mm.
Even then, I was kind of a believer in aliens.
Mm.
But
in your mind, more chance it was an alien than a ghost.
still, actually, yes.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it was... it has a lot of the hallmarks of ghost stories. And in my opinion, most of those ghost stories would be aliens. Because I still don't quite see how a ghost would exist, whereas I see how an alien would exist.
Mm-hmm.
But the fear is real. The fear of whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is, it's the same feeling of, oh my gosh, I need to get out of here. This thing is coming after me. It doesn't want me here. It might be evil. It's still really scary. So, the last time I ever stayed in that apartment alone, I was asleep on the couch. And this time it wasn't just in the middle of the day. It was from day to night. So it was about 5 or 6 p.m. when the sun's going down. And that sleep paralysis that I had then, I had sleep paralysis again. That sleep paralysis is one of the scariest things that's ever happened to me. It was like somebody was grabbing me around my ears with their face right in my face to face. And it was like my face was open and I had this pale white, like a vampire face or like a very evil spirit. Big eyes with the reds of the eye. You can see the red even around the white, the teeth, and going, and it was saying something, and it was screaming it into my face. It was screaming, "Mind's eye. Mind's eye." Many times over and over. "Mind's eye. Mind's eye." I can still hear it when I say it. What the mind's eye is, I'll explain if you want to, is the eye inside your head. What you visualize something as, for instance, when you close your eyes, you have an inner eye that thinks about things or that imagines things, that sees things. So it's your mind's eye. It's when you close your eyes and I tell you to visualize a bear,
You use your mind's eye to visualize the bear. It's basically it's another word for what you see in your imagination is your mind's eye.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, I'm seeing a river in my mind's eye, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So the entity was saying mind's eye,
Mind's eye.
to you.
Yes. And this is normally when I have sleep paralysis, I don't try to pull myself out of it. I kind of just like, okay, go with it. But this time it was so intense and so powerful. I was like pulling myself out of it, like moving my body, struggling to move my hands. And then finally I could breathe and I could open my eyes again, like really open my eyes and get up out of this position that I had been stuck in. And I grabbed my phone. I grabbed everything that I needed because I knew I was not going to be sleeping there tonight.
Yeah.
And I got the heck out. I was calling my wife, who was actually my fiance at the time. She's my wife now. And calling my friend to tell him the story. I was shaken up. I was really... It was like when you almost get into a car wreck and you feel the shooting in your arms or the shooting in your legs from the adrenaline. It was like that, but for an hour or 2 hours maybe. I was walking around. I was like sweating. This was in winter, sweating, like trying to catch my breath, trying to tell people the story. I was really freaked out.
And did you ever think much about what the entity meant? I guess it's impossible to know.
No, I really thought about that a lot, actually. And I was thinking maybe I'm even mistranslating some sort of Vietnamese words. Because that sounds like Vietnamese. Mind's eye, mind's eye. Mind's eye. It could be, but I asked Vietnamese people, like every possible combination of tones, my end's eye, my's eye, things like that, and they said it couldn't really mean anything. Even one really sat with me because he believed me, and he was kind of into ghosts and stuff like that. He sat with me for a while, and even he being a true believer in this, he couldn't come up with something that it meant. So I think it's English.
And it would probably communicate to you in something kind of deeper than language, like you're an English speaker. It would, fashion it in a way that the recipient understands.
For instance, you mean it would communicate with you through your mind's eye?
Yeah, yeah, or like, well, that is a mad story. And I've also had sleep paralysis where I have to fight to get out of it. Like, really. And when I finally get out of it, I'm just like, yeah, it's pretty mad. So, and to this day, like it has still affected you. Like, you get chills, right? Just thinking about it.
Telling that story, I get chills.
Yeah.
Thinking about it and examining it, like you asked, have you ever thought about what it means? When I think about what it means, I go into it, I start remembering other little details, and it freaks me out. I never slept there again. I ended up moving in with my fiance. No, that's not true. I slept there, but not alone. I never slept there alone again. I slept there with her. She came with some sage to burn sage. We told the landlords about the whole experience. They thought it was stupid, but they introduced me to the family altar. Like, oh, this is our new tenant. Blah, blah. Well, not new. I'd been there a year and a half. But, just to let you know, in case you're freaking him out or scaring him.
Oh, wow.
But I was just too affected. I felt like I hate to use the term, but PTSD from that apartment. I know it's a serious term that people actually who have gone through something real, they get PTSD, but that's how I felt. Anytime I went into that apartment, it just felt it's not right. And so I moved in with my fiance. We got our marriage paperwork signed away real quick, so it actually helped me get married faster.
There we go. It served another purpose.
And I've never had any experience like that since. I haven't had any of the sleep paralysis again. I haven't had things fall off the shelf. I still have that toy. It's never fallen off the shelf again. No toilets flushing.
Yeah. So that's quite a story. Yeah.